You wanna fight, bro?
Yeah, the Fight Bros podcast.
You ready, man?
Tell him to kill it. Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Three,
2, 1.
What's up, Fight Bros podcast listeners?
Whoop whoop.
Coming at you today with Fight Bros MMA show number 38. We're here on May 2nd, 2021. Dag, man, it's hard to believe we're already in May.
God almighty, I know, man. It's already in May. It feels like it was just January. We just had snow on the ground. But we're here in May. It's almost 80 degrees today.
That's what I was saying. It feels so good to be summertime, you know.
Oh, the sun feels so good.
Well, it's not summertime yet, but
yeah.
It feels good to be getting hot. You know, stuff's opening back up.
Stuff's opening up.
Life's starting to seem a little bit better.
Life's starting to seem normal. Like, it's good. You know, I've never liked summer. I've always been a winter guy, but this is the first time I've ever looked forward to summer. I mean, I've enjoyed the winter. I didn't want it to end. But I'm really excited for summer. You know, more canoeing, more, just more of that, more camping.
Yeah.
So I'm
We're gonna go backpacking still.
Backpacking, dude. I'm excited for that. We can do that any weekend, because 30 miles in 2 days, it ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Like, not for us, man.
But guys, if this is your first podcast tuning in, we got to get this in here. As always, I am Marcus Burks, and this is Albert Walters.
Hey, happy to be here as always.
But let's get right to it, man. UFC 261, what a freaking card, man. I mean, so many finishes. I just didn't expect. Obviously, from top to bottom, I didn't. Well, except for Valentina Shevchenko, but all the other fights, I did not expect what happened to happen.
Yeah. It was certainly a night of surprises.
So let's start out with the main event. Something I never thought I would ever see in my life, just because this is one of the toughest individuals I believe I have witnessed in the UFC so far. Kamaru Usman KO'd Jorge Masvidal, and it was like a flatline KO. I mean, he was out for a little, a second or so. But that's one guy. That's what it just shocked me so much. That's one guy I never thought, like me and you talked about. I never thought I would see him get knocked out kind of cold,
knocked out, not TKO,
like unconscious,
knocked out.
And just because he's such a
hardhead,
hard-headed individual. Like, he's one of those guys that's never gonna quit, even if they're losing, and like, he's so tough, you never think he would get finished. I mean, I'm not gonna say I would say anybody could get TKO'd at some point, but unconscious is different. So it was just very surprising, and I didn't get to watch this pay-per-view because I was out of town, and I just didn't feel like trying to go to a bar to watch it.
Yeah.
But man, like, that was the biggest surprise of the night for me. I just couldn't believe it. And what's kind of your thoughts on that, man?
I think the exact same. When you called me to say, hey, Masvidal got knocked out, I was like, there's no way. Like, I thought you were lying almost, or like, hey, you're getting someone's name mixed up. Like, Masvidal knocked out Usman. No, I honestly didn't initially believe it when you were like, Masvidal got knocked out, because he, like you said, backs against the wall, he's still fighting.
Yeah.
So I just never expect. He used to fight with Kimbo Slice in the street down near Miami, South Florida. So, like, dang, it blows my mind to see that he got knocked out. But he's taking it pretty good. He's like, hey, I lost, whatever. Like,
and I mean, like he said, right after the fight, I think they had a video of him. A fan hollered at him on the street. He got out of his car to go give the fan a high five and stuff. Like, he's in good spirits. I mean, he should be. Like he said, at the end of the day, he's won from where he was at. Like you said, the Kimbo Slice fights in the street. He said that he was eating McDonald's. That was all he could afford. It was the McDonald's dollar menu and stuff like that. So now he's set.
Yeah, even though he lost, he ain't done. So he's good.
And he's said he's somewhere that he couldn't even imagine himself being, like, financially right now. And he announced that he is starting some type of bare knuckle promotion that's gonna be going on in Miami later this year. I think in June
good.
or July. So, now he's a businessman. So, definitely, I definitely thought that Masvidal would lose this. But I thought it was just going to go down the same way as same way as the first one. I thought Masvidal is such a tough individual, but Usman's such a high level guy that he has just so many different kind of aspects of his fight game that he can utilize. I just thought it was going to go the same, but I never thought Masvidal would get finished because of
his nature,
tough-minded he is, how tough he is in general. So it was just so surprising. And what's ironic is, a week before Ben Askren, his rival, not really a rivalry, but kind of got TKO'd, and he was trolling, or he was trolling him for getting knocked out by Jake Paul. He really didn't get knocked out. He more got TKO'd.
Yeah.
And then a week later, he gets knocked unconscious just like he did to Ben Askren. So it was very kind of ironic, And right before the knockout punch, George Masvidal was laughing and joking, making fun of Kamaru Usman. So it's crazy. And Kamaru Usman called this, man. He said Masvidal had an excuse when he took the first fight on 6 days' notice. He was like, now he doesn't. And he was like, I'm going to finish him this time. And he did it. And I'm going to go ahead and say this, and I think a lot of people are saying this too. Kamaru Usman is the welterweight GOAT.
Yeah.
He's not, I don't think he's the GOAT yet. He can be. He's got, a couple more fights. He does some good things. Maybe move up a weight class, to
take another belt.
Fight Jan Blachowicz or somebody like that and get another belt, or fight maybe Khabib. Maybe he could be the guy to get Khabib back in there. I know he mentioned he wouldn't mind taking it. But if we're looking at the welterweight division, he is the greatest welterweight fighter at this point. That's what he's done so far as champion. And I say so far because I feel like he hasn't been champion that long, man.
Absolutely.
He's came such a long way. I think
the days of a few years ago, you were kind of like, who's Kamaru Usman? But he's really worked his way up fast.
And I think, I like to see that because I think everybody used to hold on to GSP so long.
Yeah.
And they were saying, well, he's the GOAT. And then, John Jones did his thing, and then people were like, John's the GOAT. But everybody kind of never wanted to say anybody else was the GOAT at welterweight like GSP. And I think now we're kind of seeing people are like, maybe we can leave what GSP did in the past. It was a different era. Fighters are so much better now. And I think we see that. We see that every week. We have guys that we've been looking up to since we watched it, and they're just having a rough go.
Yeah.
And I think we see that, like, the different breed of fighters, they're just so, they just have so many different disciplines coming into this.
Absolutely.
They're not one-dimensional at all. So
it's not just boxing. It's not just judo. It's, there's so much. So it's, you can respect what GSP did, and I think he was the GOAT of his era.
Yeah.
I don't think you can argue that, but the problem is can you really say the greatest of all time when the times are changing?
Yeah.
I think during his time, he was the GOAT. Today, I think he'd be extremely successful.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he would be, like, the GOAT still.
Yeah.
It's all about speculation.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's hard to make those fights happen.
Yeah. And even then, you can't make it happen where you have someone now in their prime fighting GSP in his prime.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. He's older.
That's what we got UFC 4 for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why we got the games.
Yeah.
That's how we model it. So, but nonetheless, it's interesting.
So let's get into this next, man. So Kamaru Usman, what is next for him? I know Dana came out and said that Colby Covington, he said this a week before the fight, Colby Covington is getting the winner, which made sense at that moment because it would have been a win-win. Him and Usman had such a good first fight.
That was a great first fight.
That was a great fight. One of the best that I've seen watching UFC. And then, if Masvidal would have won, you would have had Colby Masvidal, which would have made so much sense.
Absolutely. So, like you said, win-win.
Yeah, those two individuals hate each other. So, let's go down the line, and we'll talk about a couple of things first that could be next for Usman. So with Usman, you got the Colby Covington rematch.
Yep.
Leon Edwards, I think he's number 2 or 3. He's pretty much a top contender at this point. He's facing Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz has that star-powered name. So the winner of that fight could be next for Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
I know Kamaru Usman's manager, Ali, came out and said that Kamaru wants to face Michael Chiesa. I just think Chiesa.
That's kind of odd.
Chiesa's
needs
good.
to build up a little bit.
He needs to beat some other people. I think.
Yeah,
I think
his way up the ladder.
His big win at the welterweight division's RDA, so he needs to crack that top 5.
Yeah. Great
and
fighter.
Let's see, am I leaving out anybody? I don't think so. I think that's the main
feud.
The main feud, unless you were looking at having him go up to face Blachowicz or something. But I don't want to see that yet. I think Kamaru has more work to do at welterweight. The Colby Covington,
but he's really cleared it out.
The Colby Covington.
He even cleared out the Covey fight. So
the the Covington fight has to happen. That has been, other than Kamaru Usman's loss before the UFC, that has been the most he has been tested. And I mean, we're not gonna sit. I don't like Colby Covington, but and I know you don't.
He's a good fighter, though.
Yeah, but we're not gonna sit here and say that if Kamaru Usman didn't finish him, I think Colby Covington would have won.
I do.
It might have.
I can't disagree with that.
It could have been a draw, but I think Colby was gonna win.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I don't like Covington. I don't like bombastic people. I didn't like. God, I'm blanking on his name. The Irish fighter who doesn't fight no more. Famous guy, Proper 12.
Oh, McGregor?
Yeah, McGregor. I was brain farting, man.
Oh,
I didn't like McGregor's bombastic attitude. I'm not a fan of that.
He's still fighting. He's got Dustin Poirier coming up.
Does he really? I thought he retired.
Third fight. Yeah, he does that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, he's retired several times.
Yeah.
Whatever. No, but no, I mean, I'll call a spade a spade. He was winning.
Yeah.
Covington was winning that fight, but Usman TKO'd him. So
yeah.
Usman won.
Yeah, so out of those options, what would you like to see next for Kamaru Usman?
To be honest, I don't think Leon's there yet. I think he's a great fighter. He's there at the top, but I think he's gonna have to get a win over someone impressive to get that title fight.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Nate Diaz is that big name, man.
Yeah, I think if Leon Edwards beats someone like Diaz, Covington, Masvidal, if he beat someone really, really good, I think so. But just right now, no. I think it's got to be Covington out of everybody, and then if he beats Covington, I think move up.
I agree. I want to see Covington. That's the only fight I think I want to see right now.
Out of all the options.
Yeah,
and Michael Chiesa, come on, man, that's a stupid.
Yeah, I don't know why
proposition.
I don't know why Usman's manager said that. That was kind of, Covington. I don't like how Covington's approached it, sitting out so long. I feel like he should have took a fight in between. But,
you almost wonder if he deserves it because
and we got Gilbert Burns, Stephen Thompson coming up, so I did forget that. So that is one of those contender fights as well. But Gilbert Burns just had his chance. Depending on what Stephen Thompson does. The last time we seen Wonder Boy fight for the title was against Woodley twice.
Yeah.
And it didn't go his way, but we'll see. As much as a Nate Diaz fan as I am, I do believe that if he did beat Leon Edwards, he wouldn't want to fight with Usman. He might, but I think I don't know. I think he just likes to take. I think he likes to fight.
I agree. I think he likes to fight. I think he just likes to mess with people.
He wouldn't want Usman stomping on his feet and pinning him against the cage and stuff. I don't think he would like that. So I think if he wins, he can troll Usman.
Yeah, but never actually fight him.
Maybe that fight would happen. I would love to see it, but right now, just with how I picture things going, I want to see Colby Covington get his second chance against Kamaru Usman.
Absolutely.
I feel like that this chapter between those two, we need to see how it's gonna end.
Absolutely.
So, but let's go on, man. Such a big night. Rose Namajunas, man.
That was a great knockout.
TKO'd Willie Zhang.
Yeah. I can't believe she did that. She's a beast, man.
Yeah.
She has taken some insane hits, and to get TKO'd like that. But Rose, she landed a perfect head kick.
I just thought Zhang's power was just gonna, help her win this fight. I actually picked Zhang just because
I understand why.
I know Rose had, she deals with these bouts of like, and she talks about it openly, and this is not bashing her at all, but she deals with like bouts of like anxiety about fighting, and I feel like if you're in a position like that, it just makes it tough. Like obviously there's a certain level of anxiety you need to perform anything.
You should
in life, but she was talking about she didn't want to do UFC media and stuff like that. And nobody wants to do media, but it just seemed like at one point it was pretty extreme. And then I don't know if I told you about this, but I really didn't like that comment Rose made about Zhang, man. It was just very, I don't know, far-fetched. So what she said in her fight against Zhang, she said she was talking about Zhang, and she was talking about how she wanted to beat her, and she said better dead than red, because Zhang lives in China. So she said better dead than red, and China is communist. Yeah. But Zhang's never came out and said that she supported that communism. So I was kind of shook with that, because I thought that was just very kind of judgmental. Assuming that about somebody, because obviously, with the way things are in China, Zhang obviously can't just come out and say that she didn't because, it's not as free as we are to speak.
Oh, man, you
in the
can't.
United States, so.
Here, you can say, I like the president, I don't like the president.
Yeah.
It ain't even got to be about the president. You could say that about anybody, from your mayor to Congress to your neighbor. Mm-hmm. In China, they don't really have freedom of speech like we do. So speaking out against the Chinese government is a crime.
Yeah, and so I didn't like that going into the fight, and I'm not gonna lie, I did pick against her a little bit because of that. But after the fight, I was kind of a Rose Namajunas fan again, man, because after she did that, her and her husband was in her face, Pat Barry, former UFC fighter. He was like, tell me you're the effing best. And she's like, I'm the best. And he's like, I told you, I've been telling you for years. And it was such like a cool moment between them two. And then she got on the microphone with Rogan, and she was crying, just saying that she had been, keeping her faith and stuff, that she knew she was going to come back. So then I was kind of like, oh man, I just have so many mixed emotions. But
I like that personality of you. If you have any racism towards you or prejudices against, Willie Zhang or her home country, it's like you can't get behind that. Yeah,
so that was a tough thing. But and then you seen like a video of Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, as tough as he is, he took a video of him crying in joy after the fight for her. Because I mean, dude, look, like she got finished by Jessica Andrade. And she came back after that, and I mean, it's just amazing. That division right there is amazing, because you once had Joanna Jędrzejczyk ruling that division. Then you had Rose come in. Rose took some losses. Then you had Zhang come in and take over, and now Zhang's coming off a loss. So everybody that has held that belt has come off a loss and came back.
Yeah.
And, I'm not saying Joanna Jędrzejczyk's done, because she's made it known. And with that fight with Zhang, I still believe Joanna Jędrzejczyk is a top contender in that division. And any of those top 3 girls can have that title.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so...
That was a great TKO.
Yeah, so I really don't know what's next for Rose. I'm going to probably say the Zhang rematch. Because I don't feel like there's a clear contender. I think Joanna Jędrzejczyk's kind of been out a little too long.
She really has, man. That's my girl, man. I love Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Maybe you do Willie Zhang versus Jędrzejczyk 2, because that was such a great fight.
That was a great fight.
Maybe you do that for a second time to see who's a contender for Rose. But yeah, that was an awesome win. So let's go into another one. Valentina Shevchenko. This is somebody who is just so many levels above the competition. She TKO'd Jessica Andrade, and I mean, I just can't believe it, man. 3 straight finishes on this card. It was just amazing. And
what a night to miss.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think none of us really expected Valentina Shevchenko to lose. She's such a tough individual.
Yeah.
And Jessica Andrade, I felt like she was just giving up a little bit of weight at this weight class. She kind of looked a little small. against Shevchenko. So it's tough, but Jessica Andrade, she's still going to come back. She's still, at the top of her game, maybe just down a division. But this is all I got to say about this, man. Valentina Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes 3 has to happen. I believe this is the only individual that can beat Amanda Nunes. Arguably, she did beat her in the second fight. So I feel like, I feel like we have to see this third fight because Amanda is just smashing everybody. I mean, Amanda's just making easy money at this point. Yeah. I mean, she's like Ngannou, like barely in the octagon, fighting 1 or 2 times a year because there's really nobody for her to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I want to see for. I think Amanda's already got a fight booked next, but I mean, I expect it to go the same as the previous have. So we need to see Valentina Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes. I don't think Shevchenko's called her out or anything. I may be wrong, but that's what I want to see, man.
I understand that. I understand that completely.
But, as great as this card was and the 3 straight finishes we had, this card did come with some heartbreak as well. I know a lot of people that are listening to the podcast probably seen this. I showed it to you right before. Chris Weidman broke his leg early in the first round against Uriah Hall, and it was just heartbreaking, man. A lot of people, a lot of our listeners, you've probably seen the video a couple of years ago, Anderson Silva. He went to do that low leg kick, and it looked like his leg snapped and wrapped around.
Yeah.
And he went to step on it. I mean, it's the exact same thing. It happened the exact same way. Chris Weidman, as you can see in the video, went to do the leg kick. His leg snapped, wrapped around his opponent's leg, and he didn't notice he broke his leg until he went to plant on it, and then it just made like a
collapsed out from under him.
Yeah, just made like
in the middle of his calf. It just boom.
Yeah, and I mean, you could see the announcers. You could see Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall, obviously he had, a front row seat to it. Yep. And he just put his hands on his head, and you could tell he was just very emotional because, you never want to see that happen to your opponent. And they had respect for each other, so you never want to see that happen to anybody, especially. And, I feel bad for Weidman, man. This was a good fight for him to come back to. I felt like.
But it's almost hard because it's like, did you, as far as, his opponent, it's like, Uriah Hall, it's like, did you win?
That's what's tough, too, because Uriah Hall.
Because it's like, sure, you got to win on the record, but you didn't really win. But, it's so easy to critique that, but these fighters are already thinking that because they're hard on themselves. They're like, I didn't beat that person.
Yeah.
They broke their leg.
Yeah, and I mean, they already said Weidman's out for like 6 to 12 months.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he posted pictures of his x-rays and stuff. Surgery went good. He's in better spirits now. I think he's on crutches. He's got like a big leg brace. So, he's a tough individual. I think most UFC fighters and athletes with these kind of injuries, even if they're, just terrible injuries like that, I mean, they're just so in good shape and stuff that they come back way before the time period that the doctor gives them because they just heal so fast. But, like you said, it's tough for Uriah Hall because he needed this fight to cement himself as a contender at the middleweight division. His last fight was against Anderson Silva, I believe, and Dana wasn't impressed because there's just a lot of respect. And I guess Dana felt like Uriah Hall held back because Anderson was such a legend, and it was kind of a back and forth fight, but obviously it wasn't the same Anderson that we had seen. Uriah Hall beat him, but, at that point it was kind of like, you have Anderson on your resume, but you have a 44-year-old Anderson, 43-year-old Anderson that you beat. And then you just needed something else good. So, this is tough. This definitely doesn't put him in a position to get a title fight. But, maybe, we were supposed to see Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. Maybe we can get Uriah Hall versus Paulo Costa.
Potentially.
Yeah, so,
that'd be a good fight.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess that's all I got to say on that topic. Oh, man.
On 261.
That pay-per-view, UFC 261, just crazy stuff happening from top to bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great card. But let's get into some other news. If you watched UFC 261, you've probably seen a certain individual cage side. And That individual is Nick Diaz. And man, I feel like we did a podcast before saying Nick Diaz is back like a couple of months ago because I feel like that happens every once in a while. But
yeah, it does.
But this time it's legit. This time it has the backing of Dana White. Dana White has confirmed that Nick Diaz is back and he is wanting a fight for this year, 2021. If you follow Nick Diaz on Instagram or if you follow me, I've been sharing pictures about him. Dude is in amazing shape. He posted a video of him like after a bike ride, and he had his shirt off and he's just in crazy shape.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing because that just felt like I was fanboying over him or something. But yeah.
Oh, Nick Diaz.
Hey, I'm in the fitness world, so I can talk like that. But yeah, I mean, dude's ripped up, man. He posted a video the other day of him doing like flipping tires in one of his workouts. Like he's ready to go, man. And his manager actually said he's ready to go. So according to some UFC insiders, it was last week, the UFC has already offered him a fight. That fight, and according to Nick Diaz's manager, it was offered. That fight was with Khamzat. So I don't know if you remember, Khamzat's the guy that fought like 4 or 5 times in a year that was just smashing everybody. He's Dagestani
Yeah.
And, so they acted like I guess UFC wanted that fight, but you're like, and Nick Diaz's manager turned it down. I think it was yesterday or the day before. He put out a post saying like, we turned it down. We respect Khamzat. He's a good upcoming prospect, and we respect his fight skill. But Nick Diaz is looking for a mega fight. Nick Diaz is a mega name. Yeah, and I agree. Nick Diaz needs a fight that, like the Nate Diaz fight with Leon Edwards. Let's just get straight to it. Like, even though Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira are headlining that card, most people are going to be buying that pay-per-view for Nate Diaz. I am.
Yeah. No, yeah. Absolutely.
So same thing. Like, Nick Diaz, like, he needs a good dance partner that has a little bit of a name.
Yeah.
So let's get into a couple of choices for him, and then, like we did earlier, see what it is. So probably the biggest name that people are acting like, the biggest rumored fight that's going to happen for Nick Diaz is Jorge Masvidal. We seen after the Nate Diaz fight, Nick did an interview on Ariel Helwani. He pretty much stated that, he didn't like what Masvidal did to his little brother. He said he didn't like Masvidal saying he was going to baptize Nate and stuff because, that's Masvidal's character. He says he's going to baptize you with his fist. He's going to knock you out cold and stuff. So, that's just his character. But, Nick said he did not enjoy watching his brother get head kicked. And, I mean, that was a brutal...
But that's part of fighting,
I know that was a brutal head kick.
Your brother's going to be in there fighting.
Yeah, so... my understanding with it, Nate gave him permission to kind of go get revenge, even though Nate wants the fight again too. But Nate, I mean, there's so many other options for Nate, as we see with him getting this fight with Leon Edwards. So you got the Masvidal fight. You got the fight with Khamzat that probably not going to happen.
There's better fights out there than Khamzat.
Maybe, and I didn't mention this earlier, maybe, Usman's been doing good. Maybe you give him Nick Diaz to give Usman kind of a money fight to get that name selling a little bit more. I know people argue in the past that Usman, when he headlines pay-per-views, they don't do that good at pay-per-view buys. They was acting like Masvidal got more pay-per-view buys. So maybe you do a fight with Nick Diaz. And, I mean, like I told you in the Diaz brothers fight, man, I see so many people I'm friends with on Facebook share stuff about it. And they don't watch fights all the time. So that just shows you the pool that they have with just people, around the world. So then you got Carlos Condit, you got Robbie Lawler, and then maybe Colby Covington as well. So out of those guys, which one do you think would you like to see for Nick?
Out of all of them, I'd rather see Usman and Colby go at it, so I'm going to take them off the list. Khamzat and Carlos, they're just kind of like, really? Like, I don't know. I don't think they make the best sell for Nick Diaz.
Well, Carlos Condit's been fighting on the prelims, so
Yeah.
that one's a tough one.
Yeah, exactly. So, like...
Robbie Lawler's, his name's kind of went down.
His name's went down, but also Nick Diaz ain't fought in a while, so I could see them having them two fight.
Yeah.
But I think out of everybody, it would have to be either Masvidal or Lawler.
Yeah.
I think those are the best two. Khamzat's not a bad one, but like, I don't know. I think you need a better name first.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a good name. But,
oh yeah, he's coming into it.
You know, he's certainly like climbing right now.
And he would have been fighting more, but I don't know if you knew this, but he got a bad kind of bout with COVID, and
really?
He went back to train once he had beat the virus, but he kind of had some long-term effects. And he actually passed out during training and stuff. And I think he's at a good point now. He's had procedures, so he was one of those long haulers. And I think he's good to go now. I think he actually has a fight coming up this summer.
Okay.
So he's good to go now. But
I think Masvidal or Lawler.
I agree.
Then.
I think Masvidal makes sense. I'm not gonna say it makes the most sense because where I'm a Diaz fan, I know how the Diaz brothers go about things. They want people who's making noise and stuff. Like, maybe Nick thinks about this. Masvidal's coming off a two losses in a row, and he's not just coming off 2 losses in a row. Like in his last fight, he was knocked unconscious. So the Diaz brothers might look at that as like a weakness because, when Nate Diaz fought Anthony Pettis, he's seen Anthony Pettis doing all these crazy knockouts, you know what I'm saying, knocking out Wonder Boy and stuff. He wants that guy. Yeah. He's seen Masvidal do that flying knee to Ben Askren. He wants that guy. He wants the most dangerous, biggest fights. And they look for people who stand up as well, the Diaz brothers. They don't want wrestlers.
Not your Usman pushing you up against the fence, leg kick. Yeah, like you said, you want people who's going to, stand and spar.
Yeah, so, I think the Masvidal probably...
It's not a bad one.
It's probably the one I would lean most towards, too. Yeah. But I think where he lost, I don't know. I don't know, that...
I get it.
I just hope this kind of Nick Diaz stuff doesn't just go away like I feel it always does. Like, he looks like incredible shape.
Yeah, you hope he just doesn't disappear again.
Hopefully we get a fight book for him near the end of the summer, I would assume.
I think so, too.
So let's go on to some, outside of the UFC news. We've been expecting this for a while. It happened, but now it didn't happen. They had a date, and it looked like everything was going down. It got canceled, and now it's official again. Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather is official for June 5th. Man, the Paul brothers, man, I feel like everybody hates them, but they're on the top of the combat world, man. Everybody's talking about it. And so they know what they're doing money-wise, man.
Well, Logan Paul's fighting real fighters. Jake Paul's fighting, celebrities almost.
Well, Askren, man.
I mean, he did beat Askren, so, there's that at least. That's crazy.
So these Paul brothers, man, they're doing something right. And then you got Jake Paul at UFC 261 before the fight. I actually listened to this on the prelims because I did watch the prelims a little bit. DC talked about Logan Paul on air. He said Logan Paul was talking trash about me on Twitter. If I see him in person, I'm going to slap him. They sit Jake Paul. Dana did this on purpose. Sits Jake Paul front row near DC. DC goes back there and points a finger in his face and talking to him. So I mean, we had a DC Logan or Jake Paul confrontation, and Dana has been bashing Jake Paul, but he's sitting front row at your event. You know that he bought the tickets.
Dana probably gave him the ticket. Was I want you sitting right here.
Yeah, that's what Brandon Schaub said on his podcast. He was like, trust me, Dana knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna see Jake Paul getting a UFC fighter here soon. So Dana's trying to build it up.
Yeah, build it up. I mean, WWE does that all the time because they're like, oh, we just pulled this random fighter from the crowd, and it's all BS. But they're really fighting at NXT, but some WWE fans don't know that. So this person comes out of the stands and starts fighting somebody, and they're like, yo, it's a fan fighting. And they know what they're doing. They're just hyping it up.
Yeah, so this is the thing about Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. My interest in it kind of goes away because we haven't seen Logan Paul fight since he lost to KSI twice, the other famous YouTuber.
Yeah.
I don't know I know a little bit about KSI. He's a famous YouTuber in another country, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he's making music now and stuff, so he's popular in the United States as well.
Yeah.
But he lost to KSI twice. A lot of people. I think I watched the second fight. It looked like he gassed out. The technique and stuff was a little shaky.
Yeah.
But Jake Paul seems to be the superior fighter. Jake Paul's a little bit closer to Floyd's weight. I don't know, that's the thing. But the thing that's intriguing about this is Logan Paul is jacked. He's jacked. And he's going to have a 50-pound weight advantage on fight night other than Floyd Mayweather. So I've been seeing memes of, it's like, we're getting Big Show Floyd Mayweather 2 at... Did you remember when Big Show fought Floyd Mayweather? So, yeah, that's what they were making memes, acting like Jake Paul was Logan Paul was the Big Show.
Yeah.
And, but man, my thoughts on it is, I just think Logan's going to get gassed out again. Floyd's going to do what he always does. And Floyd made a video the other day. He was like, look, I could still fight actual boxers. I could fight your Canelos and stuff. But he was like, for those fights, I'm going to get paid $30 million. He was like, look, I go fight this YouTuber. I'm retired. He was like, just because I'm retired, I don't have to sit on my couch and do nothing. He was like, but if I go fight this YouTuber, I'm making $100 million. We get to entertain people.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm making more money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And this is what's wrong with the sport of boxing. This is why I feel like people aren't interested in it, because your biggest fights that boxing is making is with celebrities.
Yeah.
But let's dig a little bit into boxing. Your Tyson Fury versus your Anthony Joshua. We're not making the fight that the people want to see. We want to see that fight, and the boxing commissions aren't making it.
Yeah.
Your Terrence Crawford and the other guy that we've been wanting, Spencer. Yeah, we've been wanting to see them fight forever. They're not making these fights. So this is why the sport of boxing is the way it is because, we got you're having companies like Triller and stuff make just ridiculous fights with the most popular people in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
And so. Yeah, the Paul brothers are taking over combat sports.
It's weird, man.
They are in everybody's head. It is done. Even got on national TV with the DC incident.
Yeah.
So
it's odd.
Yeah. So
it's really odd.
I don't know. I haven't seen the undercard for this, so I don't know if I would entertain watching it.
Paying for it?
Yeah. Maybe if they got a couple of more interesting popular celebrities on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, it looks like that's what we're going for. I don't know if you've seen this, but Lamar Odom, the former basketball player on the Lakers, is fighting Aaron Carter. You remember?
What?
You know who Aaron Carter is?
Yeah, Aaron Carter.
I just don't know why they're doing that. But
wait, which basketball players?
Lamar Odom. He used to play for the Lakers.
Why? Where?
Yeah, so...
what in the world's going on with Aaron Carter? Why is he coming back in the news? I remember that, I want candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is he fighting?
Yeah, I don't know. And then I don't know if there's a famous TikToker or whatever named Bryce Hall. He's fighting coming up soon too. So all these popular celebrities, TikTok influencers, YouTubers and stuff, they're trying to get in the fight game, and
it's entertaining.
They're drawing a different crowd. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly entertaining.
Yeah. So let's get into our next thing. We're still going on some ridiculous fights being made. Retired Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. We've been wondering what's next for Mike Tyson. He said he's hungry. He said he's still got fight in him. He's still been having that itch to fight. We seen the Evander Holyfield fight got booked against I can't remember the dude's name, but it was somebody that beat Mike Tyson in 2004 when Mike Tyson did a exhibition fight. And so Evander Holyfield's fighting him. We thought Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield was going down, so we was wondering what's happening. Last week, Mike Tyson came out with a video. He said he's fighting Lennox Lewis next. Lennox Lewis finished Mike Tyson. This was years ago, but he KO'd Mike Tyson in the 8th round. So, I mean, this is interesting, too, because it's like, okay, I kind of see what he's doing. Like, he's going back. He's wanting to take, taking this fight. This is somebody who knocked you out. Now, I know it's years past. Maybe Mike's like, oh, he's not in good shape now. So, I can take him now. I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. And with this, I wanted to see.
When is it happening?
I wanted to see the Evander Holyfield. They haven't set a date yet. Okay. So, it might not even happen. Because this was the same thing that happened with Evander Holyfield. Mike Tyson said his people reached out to Evander Holyfield. That's the fight they wanted. So, maybe in a couple of weeks this isn't even a thing anymore.
Yeah.
But right now, I guess that's what it's looking like.
I think it'd be nice to see Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I loved him and Roy Jones Jr. It was so competitive. And like I've stated a lot of times, I feel like if you're still in good shape and you love doing something, don't let age stop you.
Yeah, it's like, who cares?
Yeah. And I hate when people like in UFC are like, yeah, such and such is too old. Like, just because they're 44 years old, hey, look at Romero. He's like 44, 45.
Yeah, and he's still in great shape.
Yeah.
He ain't been winning a lot, but he's still in good shape.
So, I mean, you got guys that could just take care of their body and can do it. So I don't like the age thing, but that would be interesting. I'm glad if this does happen, it's not going to be with Triller, because Triller is just I just can't watch it, man. They have Snoop Dogg commentating and it's
stuff.
Terrible, man.
And concerts between each fight.
Yeah, you had
that's hard to watch. It's almost degrading,
you had
man.
Pete Davidson on there.
Yeah, like the stuff doesn't make sense.
I think I sent it to you. It was funny, like, during the last fight with Jake Paul, like, him and Askren are, like, facing off, and Pete Davidson, I mean, this is what he's there for, is to be funny, but he was like, when they gonna start kissing? And I was like, what? Yeah. And then you got Snoop Dogg just saying ridiculous stuff. Like, it's funny, but, like, for people who, like, respect, like
actual
fighting, we're used to, like, Joe Rogan and them commenting on stuff, like, respectfully and just, like...
There's no dignity in that.
Analytically looking at stuff and stuff, yeah, it's just, I don't...
Nah, man.
I don't really like that. So I'm glad that Mike Tyson said he's not fighting with Triller anymore.
Yeah.
He's got his own sports league called, I think it's called Legend Sports League. It's going to be a fighting company where, like it says, legends can come back and fight in, 3-round, 5-round, 8-round fights.
Whatever,
when they come back. So, yeah. So let's move on to this last topic we got. It looks like UFC has moved on from John Jones and Francis. Dana announced that Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou 2.
That'd be
nice.
Their
first fight was the worst fight in UFC.
Their first fight was the worst fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, but this is gonna be a go now. They haven't announced a date, but yeah, man, their first fight was the worst fight ever. And I mean, if you think about it, you're thinking about two of the most powerful people in UFC going against each other. And I mean, that is something to think about. Like, you're going against somebody that you've seen them just knock out people cold, and then the other person's knocking out people cold. And you're like, they come up against each other, and there was a little bit of a fear there. And it seemed like they filled each other out the whole time rather than just filling each other out the first round.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that first fight is listed as the worst fight in UFC history, I believe.
It's fair.
Yeah, and
I'm surprised Dana's willing to do that again.
Yeah,
he's probably like, look, guys, if y'all put on another show like that, you're done.
Yeah,
probably really threatening them.
But what's interesting too, man, is they acted like John wanted a $30 million guaranteed, and Derek Lewis acted like he would take $10 million guaranteed, which Dana, as we can see, most of the fighters who do this, they don't win.
Yeah.
They don't win. They don't get what they want.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I kind of thought in the back of my head that Dana would move on. And, John's just going to... He posted a video the other day of him running 20 miles an hour on one of those treadmills that you self-propel at. He was 230 pounds or something. So he's
he's in good shape.
So maybe we just see Francis fight somebody else. John sits out a little bit longer and then
comes back in.
Yeah. So and I seen John Jones. He split with his agent the other day, so that was weird too. And it was you know, was he mad a little bit that they didn't get things worked out, or I'm just confused because the guy that was his agent, he's very highly respected agent. He has a twin brother, and they both, I don't know if they run the same agency, they run two different ones, but like they're both very respected, and they cover really high profile fighters, so it was just interesting. But man, you know, let's get this Francis Ngannou title run going, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready to, like, he has not been active because UFC's been holding him back. So we've only been seeing him fight once a year. So,
yeah.
Well, I mean, he's not in the ring long at all. So let's get this going. And you know, something else to bring up too, man. Stipe Miocic, he's not done.
No.
He posted the other day that he plans on putting on 20 pounds of muscle to come back for a rubber match with Ngannou. So John Jones better watch out, because if he keeps pricing himself out, they're going to do Derek Lewis versus Francis. If Francis wins, then they're just going to give it to Stipe again and do the rubber match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Stipe deserves it, man.
Yeah,
You know, he deserves it. They split, and you don't want to leave things split like they have with Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave things split, so they need to do that third fight. So, yeah, man, if John keeps pricing himself out, you know, if Francis wins, they're just going to move on to probably Stipe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine this fight probably wouldn't go down till after summer with Francis and Lewis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by that time, you know, Stipe, you know, he might be putting on that weight, and then we might see Stipe and Ngannou early 2022.
Yeah. Something.
I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
But you got anything else, man?
No. I don't think I have anything else to add. I'm just looking forward to it all.
Yeah, man. A lot of crazy stuff happening on this podcast, man. A lot of big things. You got the UFC 261, this awesome card. Nick Diaz coming back. Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather making headlines.
Crazy stuff.
You know, so it's just a lot.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. So hopefully we got a lot of exciting things in combat sports, you know, whether it's UFC, boxing, celebrity boxing.
Yeah, anything.
Hopefully we got some exciting stuff moving forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, we'll leave it at that today. Thanks for continuing to support the podcast and watch it. And yeah, until next week. Next week we'll have a good one. We'll be doing predictions for Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards, that big pay-per-view coming up. So,
that's exciting on the 15th.
Yeah.
So be sure to watch it.
Yeah, that's going to be the one I would recommend getting. It's stacked from top to bottom.
Yeah. Well, take it easy, guys.
Yeah, until next time.